Dalia Feldheim, creator of the Dare to Lead Like a Girl campaign. Dalia is an organisational psychologist and adjunct professor at Singapore Management University. We'll have Dalia joining us in a minute. Hi, Dalia. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you? Great to be here.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us and giving us your time. I'm really excited to hear your presentation. So thanks very much. I'll hand over to you.
Looking forward. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here today. So I'd start off by just asking you, what does it mean to you when I say run like a girl? So this was a question we asked in a commercial we created back in 2014 for our global feminine care business. Let's see the beginning of that commercial.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. My hair. Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl.
My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So when did doing something like a girl become an insult? Now, as a global marketing director for this campaign, I'm, of course, extremely proud of the business results. It had almost 250 million views. It was one of the first femcare advertising to be featured on the Super Bowl, and it won a total of 14 Cannes advertising awards. And recently, it was also voted as one of the top 10 most influential campaigns of the decade. But as a mom of three, what I'm even more proud of is that a few months ago, so this is 6 years after the campaign first aired, my youngest daughter, Anna, called me all excited from school. Mom, you won't believe it, but they're showing your ad in social studies. More than a commercial, it had become an icon of women empowerment. As you see in the commercial, when you ask a young girl what it means to run like a girl, she says simply, run as fast as you can. But something changes during puberty, and suddenly it becomes an insult. Our goal with that commercial was to change the meaning of words and reclaim the phrase like a girl to mean simply be proud to be who you are. Now, I'd like to ask you what it means to you when I say lead like a girl. So I spent the last 2 decades as a senior leader at Procter & Gamble and another company, and I believe it's time to reclaim the phrase like a girl once more, this time in the world of leadership. So growing up, I was considered to have healthy chutzpah. It's a term in Hebrew that means, bravery and cheekiness, not afraid to challenge the norms. I was a competitive gymnast and later a platoon commander, which became my crash course in perseverance. So you see, doing things like a girl was never much of an insult for me. I studied psychology and business and landed a role as an associate brand manager at Procter & Gamble, a marketeer's dream. One day, a few months into the role, I'm sitting invited into the office of my general manager as one of my launches hit a wall. I can tell you, I was so angry and frustrated. My samples got stuck in the custom. And I'm sitting there in his office in Geneva, and frustration is mounting, and I got so angry and so frustrated that suddenly I started to tear. I was sitting in the office of the general manager, my manager's managers, and tearing. Wow, I was frantically trying to regain my composure. My boss, Jim Lafferty, a friend and mentor until today, smiled at me and offered me a box of tissues. And when I finally regained my composure, he said something I'll forever remember. He said, Dalia, don't you ever be embarrassed for crying in the office again. It's a sign of your passion, and passion is your superpower. Wow, right? And then he added, and if you ever work for someone that doesn't appreciate that, walk away. They don't deserve you. I was so empowered. And for the next almost 17 years, my career just went from strength to strength. And I had many managers like Jim that believed in me, sometimes more than I believed in myself. But it wasn't until my career reached rock bottom that I really understood what Jim was talking about. So it was fast forward 17 years, and I left P&G to become Chief Marketing Officer of another Fortune 500 company. A dream role. I was in charge of 150 marketeers all across Asia. Very quickly into the work, 2 months, basically, I got a new boss. And it didn't take me more than a week to realize that him and I were like fire and water. So I was all about results with people, and he was all about numbers over people. I was all about passion and creativity, and he was all about scorecard and ROI, you know, return on investment. Most days it felt like ROI or you die. In one of my first meetings, he looked at me and he said, Dalia, I'm not going to waste my time telling you what you're good at. I'm only going to focus on what you need to fix. And as if that is not enough, he added as a cherry on top, and don't kid yourself, there's no art in marketing. It's only science, you just didn't get it yet. Stab and turn, you get it, right? The two of us were like a match made in hell. Well, that morning, I am summoned into his office. He liked to kind of bring me in from another meeting. And I'm sitting there, and he starts pounding me with feedback. Now, I love feedback, right? You know, tough love feedback. But I can tell you, there was no love that day. It was just tough, insulting, personal feedback. And I'm now a C-suite woman, the only woman on the team, actually. And I'm holding it in. And then he starts insulting my team. And that's when I became a lioness, because I knew how unfair it was, how hard my team worked. And I was so angry and frustrated. And I started to tear. My boss looked at me and offered me a box of tissues. And for a moment, I had that warm, fuzzy feeling, remember in my first boss, Jim? But then I noticed something almost evil in his smile as he turned around the tissue box, and I couldn't believe my eyes. On the other side of that tissue box was a handmade sticker that read, Dalia's tissue box. Are you kidding me? I said, with the little self-esteem I had left. He leaned back and said, oh, Dalia, stop being so emotional. This is just boy banter. I know you have a sense of humor. Sadly, I allowed that to get to me. But as I told you, I was not raised to give up, and I decided to persevere. So the first year, I fought, right? I provided feedback, I volunteered, and I realized you can't change someone that doesn't want to change. And I was banging my head against the wall. So second year, I decided to flight, to avoid, and do everything I was told. That year, our scorecard was amazing, but I fell physically sick. So the third year, I decided to bring back my heart to the workplace. He wanted science, and I was determined to bring my heart and my art to the workplace. And together with my team, we created a campaign that was extremely data-driven, but also very creative. And when that campaign won an Effie Award for business results and creativity, I knew I found my mojo back, and it was time to move on. I stayed there 3 years. 3 years in a toxic environment. It was extremely challenging, but I guess that's the reason I'm here today. I learned to stop relying on external validation. Trust myself, lead like myself with passion and authenticity. Because it wasn't until I decided to go back to my strengths that I was able to succeed. And just like in the commercial, lead like myself, no matter what they say.
keep doing it because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that's not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
Like a girl also mean win the race.
So why can't like a girl also mean win the race? Now, when I left that job, I was really puzzled how in one environment I was a rock star, and in the same environment, maybe they thought I performed. I know I gave only 10% of my capabilities. So I decided to go and study it. I went and did my master's in organizational psychology in INSEAD, and then I studied with Professor Tal Ben-Shahar, that you probably know from the Happiness Studies Academy. That led me to actually start teaching at Singapore Management University, the science of happiness. And today, I gave a TED Talk, Dare to Lead Like a Girl, and I work with companies like Microsoft, Google, etc., on bringing happiness to work. And I have a little startup with Tal Ben-Shahar on bringing happiness, game, positive psychology into the workplace. I decided to turn my pain into my purpose, which is to work with individuals and companies to bring purpose, perseverance, and positivity to the workplace. You see, when I was teaching at the university, one of my students said, "Oh, Prof, thank you so much. Now I know what my purpose is. But I know I need to be a corporate slave for a few years, and then I'll do what I love." That made my hair stand up because I know it doesn't have to be that way. And that's the moment where I pivoted my career. Now, during my studies, I realized that what happened to me is sadly way too common in the business world today. In fact, we're in the midst of a major leadership crisis. Gallup shows that 87% of employees are unhappy in the workplace today, believing they work for companies that don't appreciate them as human beings. Even worse, 20% of employees are so unhappy they are hostile. Now, when I talk with CEO, they kind of say, "Oh, these soft skills." No, this goes straight to the bottom line, costing the global economy almost $7 trillion per year in stress-related disease. You see, in the midst of this leadership crisis, it is actually those more feminine traits like resilience, teamwork, intuition that are more important than ever before. In fact, our Harvard Business Review in June 2019 found that women score higher than men in 17 out of 19 leadership skills. These include the resilience, empathy, integrity, but also things like results, change, innovation. So why is lead like a girl still sounding like an insult? Now, it's not about men versus women. I truly believe that real leadership is genderless. We all have both masculine leadership traits and feminine leadership traits. It is time for all leaders to dig into those more feminine leadership traits and dare to lead like a girl, which means leading with purpose, perspective and mental perseverance, power up, energy, people, and positivity. And finally, to lead like a girl takes courage. Now, courage is not the absence of fear. It's about facing your fears, digging into your superpowers, and then dare to lead like a girl. Thank you very much. And I would really love, our mission is there. I would love, feel free to share it forward, connect with me on LinkedIn, and my book, actually was a forward by Sheryl Sandberg, is coming next year. So thank you so much for having me, and let's all lift as we rise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dalia. Wow, that's just really infused our afternoon sessions with a lot of passion, and thank you for sharing your personal experiences and the wonderful work that you've shared with us today. I can see that it's really resonated with the audience